Hi, it's me again. It's Will. Back at it with another video, thinking, feeling, reflecting. I get these questions thrown around a lot in my head. I think about things a lot, go on walks a lot. It's been really good for my brain. But the question today is like, what are needs anyway, right? I feel like we talk so much about needs. Take care of your needs. Be with your needs. Maybe this is just my little bubble on my island. That's fine if it is. But often I'm like, what the hell are needs? Okay? So, y'all might disagree. I would love for you to disagree, actually. Please disagree with me. Because I might be wrong about some things. It's not like being wrong. I get to learn. So, what are needs anyway is the question for today. And my initial thoughts on what needs are that, like, I feel needs... I want to preface this with a few things because I feel like needs and wants get really confused really often in the world, okay? So, like, needs, I think, are like things that point fundamentally towards our human experience of like what I think we all like want and need in society. Like needs to like function as people, right? I think we need people. I think we need communities. I think we need collaborative, open, warm cultures and societies, okay? I think back at any part of history and the warmth and nostalgia that we feel for the past, and I feel a big part of that nostalgic experience is the idea of the warmth and community and people that were like there, man. I think back to when I was a kid in the 90s and like you could just like hang out with people like, and there was a community. I mean, I was a kid, right? Like I was in school. Of course there's a community. There's like biases there, I guess I feel. But I think as a kid, and I think society understands this mostly, and I think a lot of people are talking about this, but I think this is not just a kid thing. I think this is a people thing, regardless of your age bracket, is we need community and we need each other, right? But we need each other to be like good to each other. So I also know a lot of people that are like hurt and in pain and don't feel they need other people because they've never been like emotionally accepted or received. And like I empathize with that. Like there have been parts of my life I've not been accepted and received at all, right? There are certainly moments I felt profoundly rejected, and that's really hurt me. But there are people out there that are good. There are people out there that you can form communities with. And it's something I've been thinking more and more about as I've been getting older, man. Like, I want a bit of a bell curve where I thought one of my needs was like, no, I actually need to be alone and like just like do my thing by myself, which is why I developed a lot of the systems that I needed to create things, right? And often there were crutches to get around my weaknesses. Like I'm thinking especially in music, right? Like there's some aspects of music production I'm just not that good at. I'm going to hold my hands up there. Like rhythms, I'm just not that great at rhythm. Like I'm not that good at drums, for instance. I'm not that great at drums. I started out in drums. I'm not that good at drums. Bass is probably the most rhythmic instrument I can do semi-competently, but I'm more melodic. I'm more chords and melody. That's kind of how my brain works. And like historically, there were like bands, right? And like bands are like communities, right? Of like people that like come together and have different strengths and all work on like a project together. Think of like a bunch of people building a house. You've got plumbers. You've got electricians. You've got bricklayers. You've got the guys who put the insulation in the building. I'm not a house building person. But anyway, like we need each other. We understand as sort of cultures and societies that the worst thing you can do to a human being is put them in prison. Okay? Prison, what is prison? Fundamentally, it's you put them in a box and you say you stay in that box and we're going to deny your fundamental human right to like have safety and community, right? And you know, yeah, Maslow's talked about this. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like super important, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm gonna put it on the screen somewhere, probably around here. Is like super important, right? And I think a good blueprint often for figuring stuff out. But I also think like it's not as binary as I feel Maslow's is here. I feel it's almost hard sometimes to translate those to the real world a little bit. You know, sleep is important. Eating is important. Being able to release waste is important. Being able to have shelter is important. okay? But like, I'm thinking above those like fundamental needs, right? Like, obviously we all need that. That's probably the most obvious and stark, right? And like, food banks exist, which help with that people can't have that, and homeless shelters and stuff. And I wish society was a bit better that we didn't have to have those, but that's just me. But and to be clear there, I hope, I wish we lived in a society where we don't need food banks and people just have enough food. We don't need homeless shelters and people just have homes to live in that are their homes. That is my ideology. But I think, I'm thinking about, you could have social circles and sometimes they won't meet your emotional needs. You won't have nourishing social relationships. You can have a job that pays well but feels like vacant in terms of purpose, right? It's like you get up and you like go to this office and mind you, not many people work in offices these days, but those that do, they're just showing up and they're just like crunching numbers and looking at screens, right? Like I used to work in an office, didn't like it, hated it, right? In terms of my skill set, it was technically a good thing, but hated it, felt bad, not a good time for me. I had bad mental health. So I think when I think about needs, I really think about, the physical, the environmental, the emotional, the occupational, the spiritual, having a purpose, the financial, having enough money to pay for stuff. All that stuff is needs, right? And the wants I feel we see sometimes are like cope for not having these needs met. I feel strongly about this. I'm annoyed because we are on our phones because we don't have community. We're on our phones because we can't be emotionally nourished, right? And there's a lot of really interesting data that points to the idea that smartphone use and technology use and social media use like numbs our emotions and experiences, right? Like we dissociate from our feelings via kind of social media. It's tough. I do it sometimes too because I feel things really intensely. And then that neglects our needs. That neglects our ability to even check in with our needs. And then I almost feel like there's this dialogue happening often. It's like, just cope instead of addressing your fundamental need. And that really irks me because I'm like, why put a band-aid solution? It feels like a band-aid solution to me. Why put a band-aid on something we can fix? Hey, sometimes we can't fix it, like legitimately we can't, and like whatever it is, right? Like intense trauma and you need medication, and medication can be seen as a band-aid, but like sometimes people need a crutch, sometimes people need support, right? In the immediate term, because that's super important. But also, like when we come to the right place, like we need to like look at the fundamental needs, I think, What do we need as people? And unfortunately, because of our needs being so denied in some departments sometimes, I'm certainly talking about myself here, right? I'm thinking about the physical. So I'm a big dude. I don't know if the camera reveals it, but I'm a big dude. And currently I'm a Manjaro, so I'm trying to help reduce that. But one of my needs are physical, right? I need to move. I've been a big dude for a very long time, okay? Very long time. And I'm like trying to do something about it. And I've been going to the gym, and that's like a physical need I've been trying to meet. And like it's helping. I'm the strongest I've ever been, which is like great, right? But like historically, I'd neglect that need fundamentally, and then from not taking care of my physical needs, I would numb that lack of regulation with more coping, with more video games, being an addict, right? So I really encourage you all to just think, what do you need? What do you need? What do you want? Not what do you want, because like money is fine, but at a certain point of money, you don't need it anymore, okay? You don't need a ton of money. You don't need a ton of stuff. Stuff isn't going to fulfill you. The world likes to tell us otherwise. I ain't selling you a product here. Don't buy nothing. Don't buy nothing from me. You need food, you need shelter, you need heating. If you have a health condition, you might need a certain medication. And to like take care of your other physical needs and social needs and stuff like that, but like a lot of stuff we just don't need, and we're coping with another need via another thing that we're attaining. And it's a vicious cycle and a vicious loop. And like, you know, YouTube's part of that, man. There's like ads that are like trying to get us to buy junk we don't need and we don't want. Create the desire, right? My desire is for people to be happy in communities and have individual community powers, and for people to feel engaged in their communities. I think that's so important. I don't think we have that enough. I think that's a huge need. A huge need. I don't care where you're from or what you do. You need to be part of a group in some capacity, right? Maybe you need more alone time than other people. Maybe you need more social time than other people, right? That's a muscle you can train to be a little more social, to extend that social battery a little bit, and then retreat and recharge, process the emotions. That's fine. Nobody has to be at the same pace, but people need to understand and respect each other. And I feel I see that less and less in the world, and it makes me sad. I feel sad about that. So what are needs anyway? In summary, needs are the things that help you be stable. Not help you cope, help you be stable. And sometimes eating too much food, that's cope. Sometimes playing video games for 12 hours a day, that's cope. Smoking cigarettes, that's cope. Going for a run, that's good for your needs. Welcoming people into your community and feeling welcomed by your community, that's your needs. Okay, we need people. We need a roof over our heads. We don't need pensioners dying because they can't heat their homes. That's not a need. I guess something I want to impart at the end here, at the end of the video, is take care of the people. Your needs are important. Identify what your wants are. Try and trace it back. Okay? One of the reasons I love music, full stop, is because I feel I got into music for community reasons. Because I had a friend who was a guitarist in a country band. And he was like, "You want to be the drummer?" And I'm like, I would love to be in a group. I would love that. I want to be in a group. I want to be in a community. All right, I'll be the drummer. I don't have any strong desire for music initially. I didn't even listen to music until I was 16. I had this weird, like, no, I'm not listening to music until I was 16. Rejected it. Now I have an album and an EP. Community is powerful. Be community for people. And then you can figure out what the other needs are together. But that's my 2 cents on what needs are anyway. You've been you. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments in the chat. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Be good to yourself. Be good to the people around you. And I'll see you next time.